On a recent afternoon in Salina at Thomas Park, there was a Get Out the Vote event. Salina's NAACP helped support it. I spoke with Salina's NAACP President, Brian Frazier, about events happening as we lead into the November 3rd election. Particularly pertaining to your organization, Black Lives Matter, the deaths of people of color, by police, people, protesting.
Right.
Tell me how that has affected, first off, your organization, and then how you guys are trying to become a part of that.
It's affected our organization just like it's affected our nation. It's hurtful. To see folks of color die at the hands of law enforcement needlessly is something that hurts all of us. It hurts us as a nation. It's something that, if allowed to happen, can divide us when we really do need to be a united nation. And here in Salina, I think some people have looked at it as, those are the type of things that don't happen in Salina. And well, that's just in the big cities and things of that nature. We have good officers here in Salina. We have good police officers here in Salina. I just don't want us to have bad police officers mixed in with our good officers, making our good officers not that great of officers.
Right. When you look at, obviously these have been issues and concerns and problems for long time. What are your thoughts on how the Floyd death really brought it up to a pinnacle?
The Floyd death brought a light back to it. I think we had all gotten so numb with all the political chaos that's going on that we had forgotten that there is still this great injustice done to people of color. And then seeing that event happen and watching it played over and over and over again on our networks, and it brought the light back to it, and so it brought that vision back to there are people of color that are still being oppressed.
And one more question on this, and then I'll gear over
However
to that.
you want to go.
Along the lines of every vote matters.
Yes.
Salina might be small, NAACP might, is congruent with how big Salina is. What are you guys doing at this point to try to make positive some of the negativity out there?
By working with organizations like the League of Women Voters, UU University, the churches here in town, the youth groups that have sprung up, and those folks are amazing. The things that they're trying to accomplish reminds me of watching my older brothers and sisters protesting back in the 70s and things of that nature, and watching my mother fight against discrimination back in the 60s when we were kids in the South, and my grandparents and things of that nature. And so to say that it's isolated, it's not. And so we have to do everything we can to make sure that people understand voting matters. We had an election here a couple of years ago, a local election, to where we had, I think it was less than a 20% turnout. That's astonishing. I mean, how do you have something like that happen and then say that, well, they're not representing me? Well, if we only have 20% of the population turning out to vote, then the folks that are elected are going to represent that 20%. The other 80%, okay, well, if you're along those lines of what they want, then fine. If you're not, these are the people that put me in office. And so we've got to get people out there to vote. We've got to make sure that they realize that every time they vote, it matters. that one vote does matter. I mean, like I said, we're a population of 50,000. 20% is what, 10,000 people?
Around, my math is bad.
Yeah, mine is too, but it's a very low number. So that means we had city commission and county commission seats that were decided by probably less than 20 votes.
So speaking of voting, getting involved in this, and this will be my last question.
Sure.
It seems to be so much a part of what's happening now when we look to the past. Women got the right to vote.
Right.
But that was not women of color. That did not come till 50 so years later.
Yes.
Comment on that in and of itself. To me, that seems absolutely incredible. But does it show what hard work there still is ahead of us?
There's a lot of hard work still ahead of us. I mean, we had our first president of color, 4 years ago. I think people thought that, well, that's proved that we have evolved. It didn't, because after thinking that we had evolved at that time, we've gotten to the point to where we are now, to where there are so many obstacles out there, or that are being placed out there to deny people the right to vote. So we haven't really gone as far as we thought we have. There's still a long ways to go, and we have to work on it every day. I mean, it's something we've got to work on every day, because the other side's not giving up. They're not going to stop trying to keep people suppressed and eliminating their rights. They're not going to stop. So until we keep that momentum going, that this is something that it's work. It's work, and sometimes people get tired, but if you don't put in the work, you're never going to get to where you need to be at. I always told my nieces and nephews when they were growing up, take care of business, and business will take care of everything else. So if you take care of the business at hand, it takes care of all the other stuff. So yeah, that's why people need to vote.
All right, awesome.